back to 26. My daughter had a baby.
I'd like to call the August 13th, 2018 meeting of the Albany County Law Committee to order. We'll try to move through this pretty expeditiously. We have several resolutions to amend some public hearing notice dates on the agenda, as well as local law L. I believe Mr. Touche, the sponsor, is here to address any questions, so we'll move right through it. Item number 1, resolution number 227. This amends the public hearing notice date. Any questions?
Yeah, the one I have is July 248.
Is this the old one?
Yeah.
This is supposed to say Tuesday, August.
Well, today, August 28th is what it's, this is what's in the agenda for the legislative meeting is corrected. I corrected it, expecting you all to pass that.
So this
Motion
is,
to correct this?
yeah, we'll take a motion to amend the date to Tuesday, August 28th, 2018. All in favor? On the resolution as amended.
What is it, August 28th?
Correct. All those in the amended resolution? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Item number 2, this is public hearing proposed local law N by legislator Drake. This also needs to be changed to August 28th. Do I have I'll make a motion to amend it. Seconded by
Sure.
Mr. Feeney. All those in favor of moving item number 2 as amended, this public hearing notice date?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Item number 3, this is another amendment for the public hearing notice. We'll have to amend this to August 28th as well. Can I have a motion to amend the date? Mr. Feeney, seconded by Mr. Higgins. All in favor as amended? We'll move item number 3. Item number 4, this is public hearing for local law Q. This is the hotel occupancy tax. We have to amend this to August 28th also. Make a motion to amend the date to August 28th, 2018. Seconded by Mr. Feeney. All those in favor? Aye.
Can we do those on block out there?
They're-
Together?
No, we have to go through one by one, yeah.
Okay, item number 5, local law L. Mr. Touche is here. This is the polystyrene bill that all these folks are here to discuss. If there's any questions from members of the committee?
Just a clarification. There is an exemption for not-for-profits, aren't there? Isn't there?
There's
No.
not a blanket exemption, not-for-profits that have used styrofoam for fundraising activities that are incidental to their primary purpose are exempted.
Got it.
Now, other nonprofits, like the Capital District Rescue Mission, can apply for a waiver. And the way it was described, I think, the language is that if it causes undue financial distress, which a $40,000 increase to the rescue mission definitely would, that would be a waiver. And those waivers cannot be unreasonably denied.
Mr. Bergdorf?
I'm a little concerned, Rick, because it seems like we've made an ironclad exemption for our little leagues, okay? But the people that are in the not-for-profit world who are actually using their money for programs to help fragile constituencies, they're not getting the same consideration. They've got to go through a process. Nobody knows what the rules are. And I sort of, it's kind of a bait and switch for whoever wrote the article in the Times-Union to say that there were exemptions for not-for-profits, because that's just not true. That it is, and in fact, when I wrote to, and I copied you and the sponsors of the legislation, when you started this, I asked you whether this was a health issue or an environmental issue, and you said it was an environmental issue and it's litter. Well, the folks out there who are the advocates believe that it's a life or death issue. They believe that it's a public health issue.
Well, I think they also believe it's an environmental.
I'm not telling you,
No, I know,
absolutely. But the point is, if people believe that it's a health issue, I personally, and I'm going to say it out there, I'm going to take my health advice from the Commissioner of Public Health in Albany County, who says it's not a health issue, from the American Medical Association that says it's not a health issue, and from the American Cancer Society. But if people out there think it's a health issue, you shouldn't have a waiver in this, because what you're saying is, we'll take care of the kids in the Little League, they can be subject to whatever health ramifications there are. They're expendable. Not-for-profits, if they have a hardship, well, we'd be delighted to give them some carcinogenic stuff. Not a problem if they can say it. So I have a problem with the way the exemption is
I'd like Mr.
structured.
Touche to respond, and then Ms. Cunningham, and then I'd like to entertain a motion to move it
Well,
out.
Gary, there's nothing in this law that makes any kind of reference to health aspects, harmful or otherwise. We really can't control what other people are saying. When I introduced this law, I didn't put anything in about
And I
health
appreciate
because
that.
I'm not qualified to evaluate all those studies, pro and con. But I think there is a very valid environmental reason for doing that. And that's so that and it's not going to keep people from littering, but the litter is going to biodegrade, it's going to decompose rather than contaminating our streets and waterways. And it'll keep a little bit of styrofoam out of the waste stream.
Ms. Cunningham?
Good people can disagree about the
Absolutely.
implications of whether something is a public health problem. I think my mother's advice when she was pregnant with me from her doctor was to keep it to 2 highballs and a half a pack a day. Good people and science is ever evolving. I'm sure you noticed the huge settlement that was just awarded to the groundskeeper by the Roundup chemical company for essentially causing cancer. That the ending of the article was, but we haven't gotten to the point yet where the American Cancer Society and the National Institutes of Health have indicated that Roundup contains pesticides that do compromise your health. So yet, there was enough evidence for this individual to be awarded a sizable award and to be there with clear negligence. So good people can disagree, and I also think that science is evolving, and I'd like to make a motion to report it out.
Mr. Higgins, before you make your motion, Ms. Cunningham, Mr. Bergdorf expressed some issues that I'm concerned with as well, and I appreciate your comments. Although I do think it's fair, given the amount of attention that's been paid on this, that the legislature have an opportunity to address it with a full body. But I would recommend, and I'm not making the motion, but I would recommend that if we do make a motion, it's without recommendation, because I think that's the fair way to put this out on the floor. It basically says we're going to put it out. You're not asking anybody to take a stand here. They could take their stand out on the floor. And I would support that kind of a recommendation.
Okay, well, I'd like to still make a recommendation to report it out with a
So
favorable.
there's a motion on the
Second.
floor to
I'd
move
like,
it out.
before you say it, I'd like to say one more thing, so it doesn't surprise anybody out on the floor.
You're a no.
Huh?
You're a no?
No. Yes.
No, we're gonna get into
No.
a debate about this, so.
Okay, I want folks to understand, I understand that there are people making statements here. 90% of the waste is packaging. And right now, with the City of Albany's landfill closing, you all are constituents of the Colony landfill, because we're the regional landfill. So we had an operation where we were going to take and try to recycle the 95% and actually pull something out of the landfill. But folks said, no, we can't do that because it would send the wrong signal. So we're going after 2% of the waste, 2% of the styrofoam waste. And that's our answer to landfill diversion. It's a major failure of this body and public policy in Albany County.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second by Mr. Clenihan? All in favor of moving this out with a favorable recommendation, raise your hands. All those opposed? Motion carries. The bill moves to the floor for a full vote with a favorable recommendation. Is there a motion to adjourn? Seconded. Thank you, everybody.